Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So we're starting early this morning. I'm going to get my celebrity tomatoes into the ground against this additional trellis that I have back here. Now, what I've learned about celebrity tomatoes are they are determinate, which means it's more like a bush tomato, okay? So it's going to grow about 4 to 5 feet. It does need to be stabilized or trellised, hence the reason for the cattle panel behind me. Now, they should give me one large bumper crop. Between a 3 and 4 week period, it should go on and all of its flowers fruit out, and then it should just kind of die, right? Unlike your indeterminate types, that'll continue to produce fruit throughout the entire season. Now, the thing about the celebrity tomato that I'm finding out is they really like sandy, loomy soil. Well, here at Starkey Farmstead in Southeast Louisiana, they're going to get semi-compacted red clay. So to combat the issues that I might be facing, like fusarium wilt, southern wilt, and some other blights that can hit tomatoes when their soil is not to their liking, what I'm going to do is add my own combination of soil amenders directly into the hole that I'm planting in. We are no-till, but I do still dig a hole. So let me show you what I'm going to use to combat the issues that I might be facing. All right, guys, so what we have here, whole lot of worm castings. All right, we've got some rabbit manure and we've got some homemade compost made here at Starkey Farmstead. And what I've got is a very light and fluffy material. All right, it's beautiful. Now, the great thing about worm castings is that they will retain water very easily, but they're very similar to the makeup of peat moss, but they are sustainably grown here at Starkey Farmstead. We make our own worm castings. So if you're looking for a living microbial bonus for your soil, give me a holler. We do actually ship these. So that's rabbit manure right there. I love to play in my mixtures. But this is what's going to go in the hole for my tomatoes. Good morning, Atlas. And I'm going to make a pretty big hole this year to give them their best chance of being able to siphon off the additional water that comes here in Southeast Louisiana. Now, using worm castings in your garden has another bonus, guys. Not only does it bring the microbial life back to your soil, it actually balances the pH of your soil as well as attracts, similar to a pheromone, it will attract earthworms. Now, why that is, they do not know. But honestly, I believe that they do leave like a substance behind for other worms to notice, and those worms then come in. The second thing I'm going to do before I transplant these, I'm going to remove any leaves that are yellowed or diseased. I'm going to look very careful for any sign of pest, right? So I want to make sure that I'm not introducing something into my organic and regenerative garden. I think a lot of people skip this step. You pay for it later. Because earlier, as I was looking at these beautiful plants that were donated to Starkey Farmstead, I noticed this, right? So that needs to come off. That needs to come off, and I need to double check that plant very, very carefully. So each and every one of these plants will be taken out of their cups. I will loosen up their roots because obviously they are definitely ready to go in the ground, guys. Now, normally, I would not be planting at this time in the morning, but look at that beautiful steel gray that sky, right? So I'm very overcast today with a chance of rain this evening, which would save me from having to hand water all my new transplants. So I'm going to work with Mother Nature instead of against her. I tell you that, guys, all the time. You can't beat her in Southeast Louisiana. You can't, like, it's not even worth trying. She'll whip you every time. She's got you. That's why she's Mother Nature. So what you're really just going to want to do is work with your weather. So today it's overcast, chance of light showers this evening. Both of those bonuses for Starkey Farmstead. I'm going to get these plants trimmed up. I'll start making my holes, filling them and transplanting them. And then I'll make some video of that for you guys and add it in here. Now I've trimmed off all the leaves that I don't want. But because this plant is so leggy, my hole is pretty deep in here, guys. So I've lined it with lots of worm castings, rabbit manure, and compost. And now I'm gently going to remove the plant. It's a little hard doing one-handed. It's okay though. Gently massage out your roots. Just get them to dangle a little bit for you, okay? You don't want them growing in a bunch. That's not healthy. Set your plant down in the hole. Like that, it should go ahead and stand up for you. Like I said, see how leggy it is? So then what I'm gonna do is with all this goodness right here, all organically, sustainably created here on our farmstead, I'm gonna tuck that plant in, just bringing it up, supporting that stem, guys. Okay, the cool thing about tomatoes, it'll continue to grow roots anywhere that it's touching soil. Then I'm gonna bring my mulch back because I am working against the clock here. I can hear the thunder, and I definitely don't want to drown this guy while he's in his transplant shock stage, because that is a real thing. And even with it being overcast, even with it fixing to get some water, this is shocking to this plant system. Now, I have all these guys to get in before the rain comes, so let me get busy. A couple of tips for you guys. Planting where it's boggy and wet. Know your plants. So as I move to this end of the trellis, I noticed a few things. These only grow where it's really, really damp a majority of the time. So that tells me to stop planting my tomato right there. And yes, that's spearmint. I do know they're invasive, but they are great bug deterrents. All right, so I stopped planting before I got to the end of the trellis there, and I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and as I got to this end of the trellis, same thing. I noticed that my soil, even from the rain yesterday, was almost like, because I told you guys I'm on clay, like a muddy paste. So I opted not to go any further than right there. I can't really see it right now, but my yard is on a slope. It is higher on that end than where I am standing. And where I just planted my new tomatoes is pretty much the back corner of where this entire slope goes. So I didn't want my tomato roots to be basically in sloggy mud most of the time. We dealt with fusarium wilt in the front of the garden last year, which is why I planted yellow mustard, New Zealand white clover, and I have corn, black wool sunflower seeds, pumpkin, squash, and hot peppers intermittently interplanted, if I can get any of this out this morning, amongst all of that, okay? So I did that for multiple reasons. I needed to fumigate the soil. I needed to raise the nitrogen levels back up. I needed to amend the clay soil. So I needed roots in the ground. The best place for my tomatoes is on this upper end up here, where it's not that drastic drop. Here you can kind of see the slope, right? Like this is even, that's a decent amount of slopage right there. So I really had to think through what had happened in my garden last year in this area with the fusarium wilt. I knew I could not immediately plant back in this area anyway. So I wanted to show you guys, yesterday I went ahead and alongside the corn, I planted some squash. Now these are new transplants. A couple of things I want you to notice, they are very yellow. Over the next week, I will keep doing little update videos for you guys to show you how I amend this problem. But this is how most transplants look anyway. When you first put them in the soil, they're lacking a lot of nutrients. One thing I normally do, I try to take as many of the flowers off when I transplant as possible and any additional extra leaves. Because what I want, guys, is for them to have a chance to establish their roots and then begin producing fruit. I also put out here hot peppers, right? Because hot peppers tend to, again, deter pests. I can tell you guys this though, with the rain we got yesterday, 1.3 inches, the rain we'll get today and the little bit we'll get tomorrow, I probably won't have to water even my transplants for 3 or 4 days, right? So that is the greatest thing about this heavy mulch system here in Louisiana. It really cuts back on the cost of me having to water. It's a very sustainable way to garden anywhere in the world. As you can hear, I've got one more plant to get in the ground. My cumin over there by my no-till potatoes. It's gonna work again as a companion plant. And I really want some cumin seeds. It does help fight viruses, especially COVID. So take that to heart, do what you want with it. But I like to give you guys those tidbits. Thank you for watching Starkey Farmstead. Thank you for rowing in our boats, letting us row in yours. I have to get finished, it's about 8:15. I need to get all this stuff that I didn't get planted back underneath the pavilion to protect it. I need to get myself inside. I need breakfast. The puppy just got through eating his. As usual, I told you guys, when I fell down the stairs yesterday, I knew if I took the morning off, I was gonna really have to hustle today. As soon as Stephen gets home from the men's prayer breakfast, this tarp, rain or shine, is coming out of here, because next week, I will finally be through mulching that one little section left, and I will need to mulch this entire section, because now it is time to get the watermelons, the cantaloupes, the eggplant, and the peppers into the soil, guys. Here in Southeast Louisiana, zone 9A, 9B, if you don't have your transplants in the soil by June 1st, your chances of a successful crop diminishes greatly. Okay, so it's too hot, it's too humid, too much pest pressure. Your root system did not have time to develop before the heat hits it. Then we go through bouts of drought, rainy season, drought, rainy season, and undeveloped root systems can't handle that. So I don't know where you're located. Please drop it in the comments. I love to hear that stuff. I love to find out how you're gardening, what kind of soil you're dealing with, what type of environment. Just know that if you're gonna transplant, try to do it in the evening or on a nice cloudy day like today. Preferably a day that it's gonna rain, so you don't have to water your transplants. You know what I'm saying? Like, work with nature, just work with it. God had a plan and a design, and if you will align yourself with it, your life becomes much, much easier. I do want to give a shout out to Plants by George and Miss Brenda. She donated at least 100+ plants to me 2 days ago. What a blessing. I just saw a video by Grow Family. They're also located in Southeast Louisiana. He was talking about the prices of plants by Bonnie, you know, the Bonnie plants, and how much it would cost to grow a large garden for a family. I mean, like, it's ridiculous, guys. One plant's like $5.95. And Miss Brenda donated all the tomatoes you just saw me put in. She donated peppermint because she knows I use it as a pest deterrent out there around my squash. And it's not a small peppermint. I mean, I can break it up into like 20 different plants. Probably 100 tomato plants, probably 50 eggplants, probably 30 or 40 bell peppers, and about 15 squash plants to me yesterday, well, Thursday, 2 days ago. And I was so thankful for that, because all of that, if I would have had to actually buy it, would have run me about $600, $700. And that's all I needed to finish filling in this 1/4 acre market garden. So if you're in Southeast Louisiana, or you just like to take a drive, go give her your business. She is a wonderful lady, and she's all about supporting other small businesses. And I'm so very thankful to her for what she has done. 2nd year in a row for Starkey Farmstead. Talk about when God gives you a vision, he provides the provision, but he needs you and I sometimes to step in and be that provision. So again, I'm very thankful to my God for giving me the vision, giving me the provision, and giving me the people in my life who support us. So God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I have a ton of stuff to do as usual. Hope to see some of you guys at our rabbit class coming up, and our new worm forming class that we're going to be partnering with Abshire Acres with in Folsom, Louisiana. So guys, have a blessed day. Please like, comment, and subscribe.